essay presents a valuable opportunity to showcase one's knowledge and understanding. As a writer, the initial step involves gathering ample materials and crafting a well-structured essay consisting of 4 or 5 paragraphs, incorporating quotes to bolster the argument. When readers seek a book or article to peruse, their decision is often made from the outset, determining whether the work merits attention. To impress your teacher, particular attention should be paid to refining the introduction, especially the opening sentences. Incorporating an essay hook, be it something intriguing, humorous, shocking, or thought-provoking, can captivate the reader's attention from the outset. 𝗵𝗶𝗴𝗵𝗂 is a co-host of New Mexico in Focus and is also the managing editor for the New Mexico Independent, which is an online news site. He says that the Internet has some great benefits for journalism. The Internet is this new, amazing medium. Not so new. It's been around quite some time now. But it's maturing as, among other things, a place for journalism. In a sense, the Internet allows you to tell stories better than in a newspaper or on television. For this reason, you can do it all online. You can have the written word, you can have still photographs, you can have video. You can link and kind of connect to the other journalism that has been done on a given topic. So it's not like you're in a vacuum. Pancake ice, an intermediate phase between open water and frozen bodies, forms under a combination of frigid temperatures and waves. After its formation, the ice encounters a diverse range of frequencies from various sources, such as wind shear and ocean waves. Our research aims to explore these interactions by studying each frequency range individually to gain a comprehensive perspective on pancake ice behavior. This knowledge will benefit meteorological modelers investigating cold regions like Antarctica and the Arctic. Conducted at UNIMELB's Sea Ice Wind Wave Interaction Facility, designed by Jason Monti, our modular setup allows for future expansion to accommodate longer runtimes and advanced wave studies when we relocate to Fisherman's Bend. The lifestyle of Upper Paleolithic people is understood through remnants of their meals, tools, weapons, and debris from crafting. They were hunter-gatherers, relying solely on nature for sustenance and not practicing agriculture or herding. They hunted large herbivores and supplemented their diet with berries, leaves, roots, fruits, and mushrooms. Their hunting seemed indiscriminate, as evidenced by the discovery of bones from pregnant and young animals. While they primarily lived close to cliff bases for shelter, they used tents made from animal hides on the plains and valleys. In some regions, they constructed huts using large bones and tusks. During a significant period, a wave of activism emerged to combat discrimination and injustice. Activists united, employing nonviolent protests and targeted civil disobedience, such as the Montgomery bus boycott and Greensboro Woolworth sit-ins, to bring about change. This activism was particularly prominent in the southern United States, but individuals of all races and religions from across the country joined in support of freedom and equality. The March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom in 1963 saw a massive gathering of 250,000 Americans, hearing influential speeches, including Martin Luther King Jr.'s iconic address.
We've explored the challenges of managing a moderately sized city like Melbourne, including transportation, law enforcement, housing, and food supply. However, we'll shift our focus to megalopolis cities with over 10 million inhabitants next time. Before that, let's delve into history when cities had thousands rather than millions of residents. Plato envisioned an ideal city in the Republic with a population of around 25 to 30,000, echoed by Leonardo da Vinci's ideal cities. Among these inhabitants, only 5,000 would be considered citizens. This number might have been chosen for practical reasons, making public address and voting systems more manageable. Two decades ago, Kashmiri houseboat owners rubbed their hands every spring at the prospect of the annual influx of tourists. From May to October, the hyacinth-choked waters of Dal Lake saw flotillas of vividly painted shikaras carrying Indian families, boho Westerners, young travelers, and white-eyed Japanese. Carpet sellers honed their skills, as did purveyors of anything remotely embroidered, while the houseboats initiated by the British Raj provided unusual accommodation. Then, in 1989, separatist and Islamist militancy attacked and everything changed. Hindus and countless Kashmiri businesspeople bolted, at least 35,000 people were killed in a decade, the lake stagnated, and the houseboats rotted. One of the things that people have said about agriculture is that on the whole it's more labor-intensive than hunting and gathering, and that's one of the reasons why people have looked to explanations which, you might say, are kind of coercive factors that people have been forced into agriculture because they had no alternative. That is ultimately what may happen. But at the very beginning it could be that agriculture was developed because people wanted special status foods for feasting. That it was actually a social need. I mean, how much of what we do in our lives is generated by competition with others? And a lot of that is powered by desire for new things, new statuses, new whatever it might be. Respect, recognition also are important. One day the banana is perfect. Bright yellow, firm, flavorful, but even within that same day brown spots appear on your perfectly ripe banana, its flesh turns mushy, and it's destined for the compost or at best, banana bread. But scientists are developing a way to extend the life of ripe bananas. It's a spray-on coating made from chitosan A substance found in crab and shrimp shells. The new gel can be sprayed on bananas to slow the ripening process by up to 12 days. Like other fruits, bananas remain alive after being picked, and it actually continues to respire. This means that they take in oxygen and release carbon dioxide. The more the banana breathes, the faster it ripens and then rots. Like evidence of nuts, grasses and green veggies, chemical traces of wood smoke, and tiny, intact starch granules, proof Neanderthals ate their carbs. And in one individual, they detected compounds found in the medicinal herbs chamomile and yarrow. The herbs have no nutritional value. And since Neanderthals did have the gene to detect the herb's bitter taste, the researchers speculate that the cave dwellers were munching on them not as food but to self-medicate. Not too far-fetched, they say, because primates like chimps also use medicinal plants. Luckily for the scientists doing this detective work, Neanderthals may have known a thing or two about medicine, but they didn't get regular checkups at the dentist.
Looking out of a window, you can determine the current season based on the visible natural elements. This practice of observing biological events in relation to seasonal and climate changes is known as phenology. By examining the leaves of a tree or plant and assessing the qualities of sunlight outside, you can deduce the season. Phenology has been utilized by humans since ancient times. For example, noticing daffodil buds pushing through the snow indicates the arrival of spring, while witnessing leaves transition from green to red and observing migrating birds signals the onset of autumn. The term phenology originates from the Greek words pheno, meaning to show or appear, and logos, meaning to study. While it is uncommon for adults to contemplate their parents' thoughts, the question of our own value persists, albeit redirected toward modern authorities like media and social media. In this unforgiving arena, individuals plagued by self-doubt seek reassurance and validation, implicitly asking questions like, "Do I deserve to exist?" or, "Am I beautiful or respectable enough?" Unfortunately, social media, built upon the tribulations of the individual, rarely provides a reliable affirmative answer. These self-doubters find themselves trapped in an endless cycle of seeking reassurance whenever their spirits plummet, turning to their phones for permission to continue. If this resonates with us, we should be curious about and perhaps envious of those who enjoy freedom from such anxieties. An important lesson I've gleaned is that highly effective individuals and teams in any field share a common practice that we can all adopt. They deliberately alternate between two distinct zones, the learning zone and the performance zone. The learning zone is when their primary objective is improvement, engaging in activities designed to enhance their skills. They focus on areas they have not yet mastered, fully expecting to make mistakes and viewing them as opportunities for learning. Conversely, the performance zone is when they strive to execute tasks to the best of their ability. Here, they concentrate on their existing mastery, aiming to minimize mistakes. The process of feeling full begins when food travels from your mouth to your esophagus and reaches your stomach, gradually filling it up. This causes the stomach's muscular wall to stretch, expanding like a balloon. Nerves wrapped around the stomach wall detect this stretching and send signals through the vagus nerve to the brainstem and hypothalamus, which are the main regions controlling food intake. However, the brain uses more than just the stomach's stretching to sense fullness. Hormones produced by endocrine cells in your digestive system also play a role. These hormones respond to specific nutrients in your gut and bloodstream, gradually increasing as you digest food. In 2019, Zurich's Crowther Lab conducted a study analyzing satellite images of global tree cover. By incorporating climate and soil data and excluding areas used by humans, they found that the Earth could potentially support almost 1 billion hectares of additional forest, equivalent to 1.2 trillion trees. This unexpected finding prompted further research. Updated estimates suggest that restored ecosystems could capture 100 to 200 billion tons of carbon, accounting for more than 1/6 of human carbon emissions. 6 countries hold over half of the potential forest canopy for restoration projects. This research also provides insights for existing initiatives like the Bond Challenge, which aims to restore 350 million hectares of forest by 2030.
Color is a remarkable characteristic of life. To understand color, it's helpful to consider light as a wave. Before diving into that, let's explore the general concept of waves. Imagine sitting on a boat in the ocean, observing a cork bobbing up and down in the water. You notice that the motion repeats itself, following the same path over and over, up and down, up and down. This repetitive pattern is a key feature of waves. You decide to measure the time it takes for the cork to go from its highest position to its lowest and back up again, finding that it takes 2 seconds. In physics terms, you have determined the period of the waves the cork is riding on, the time it takes for a wave to complete one full cycle of motion. The lack of mental and emotional well-being among Native Alaskans is a significant social issue faced by the state of Alaska. It is unfortunate that many Native Americans across the country are living in poor conditions, and this is especially true for Native Alaskans. Entire villages are plagued by the absence of mental and emotional well-being, resulting in continued poor physical and mental health. Alcohol abuse, domestic violence, homicides, and suicides are distressingly prevalent among them, leading to the disintegration of families. It is tragic to witness the abuse and inadequate education of many children, who themselves resort to alcohol and substances. The process of converting facts into memories involves 3 key steps. First, there is acquisition, where new information is encountered, activating specific brain areas corresponding to sensory experiences. To form lasting memories, these experiences must be consolidated by the hippocampus. Influenced by the amygdala, which prioritizes emotionally significant encounters. The hippocampus then encodes memories by strengthening synaptic connections formed during the initial sensory experience. Once encoded, memories can be recalled or retrieved later. Memories are distributed throughout the brain, with the prefrontal cortex likely signaling their retrieval. How does stress impact these stages? Consider the scenario of being on vacation in Athens for the first time. During the day, numerous new events, sights, and sounds unfold, making time seem to pass quickly. However, in retrospect, when looking back the next day or after returning from vacation, the day appears to have been long. This observation was noted by William James over a century ago in his Principles of Neuroscience. Retrospectively, we estimate the duration of time based on the number of memories we have. If a period is filled with new memories, it gives the impression of being a long period of time. In contrast, during the actual experience, we rely on an internal clock in our brain, paying less attention to time. While many believe that a good work culture involves perks like free food, swag, prestige, and making friends, these are not the top priorities for the majority of American workers today. If company leadership remains under these illusions, They will continue incentivizing and designing environments that no longer align with the true priorities of the workforce. What people truly desire is for work to enhance their overall life. They want to be trusted to make decisions about how they work and seek more meaning and purpose in their tasks. The illusions that keep pulling us back to conformity, which the group no longer values, hinder us from achieving a fulfilling life.